Welcome
Back.
to TAE Time Podcast. Yeah, how's everyone? How's everything? Hope you guys are good. Hoping you guys are having a good whatever time it is, whenever you're seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is be like that.
Happy Saturday if you're watching this on launch day or whatever.
Exactly, 6 p.m. Irish Standard Time.
Sharp.
Yeah, every week.
Be there, be square.
We haven't missed a week yet. We don't plan on
Isn't
missing.
that crazy? I feel like it's kind of crazy because it's been over two years.
Not really, because I and yourself are very, very strict about things like that. Consistency. So I think it would be very unlikely for us to miss a thing like we do. Like even when we know we're gone for a long period of time, like Japan, for example. It was like because of not just because of Japan. I think we went to Chile before it. Either way, it was like 3 weekends, so we were pre-recorded 3 episodes.
Everything was pre-recorded.
So like we did it. A trip there for New York. We had to record 4 episodes because we had to record both those 2 weeks and the Patreon, and we did it. So like we're very consistent with our work.
Yeah,
that's one thing where we are.
But I think obviously enjoying it really helps.
Obviously, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I think pre-recording like a lot is not fun.
Obviously, but it's just because it's not even just fun, not fun. It's like it's just not as good overall in the sense of like your content is a little bit out of date or so. Like it's or whatever. Like once again, it's fine when it's the Reddit stories and stuff like that, or maybe like topics and stuff.
Patreon,
but or whatever. Fine. But if it's like some like things like this when we're catching up, you can't do that. It's
like a pre-recorded.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the reason why we also said we wanted to do a lot more catch-ups, because as well, like it just kind of does get stale when you have so many like just normal things and not what's going on right now. Like people, as much as you want to hear whatever, they also want to like, even like if you're talking about a topic, usually before you talk about a topic, you talk about other things, and they want to hear like your thoughts on maybe what's going on, a little conversation. So yeah,
but maybe that's something that we could incorporate in our normal episodes anyway. Like
we do with the weekly stand-up.
Yeah, but as in we can make it a bit longer or a bit more.
Yeah, but usually our weekly stand-ups run pretty well, to be honest. As in like we run them, like they usually run like about 6 minutes long.
Well, I meant like a 15.
Yeah, no, but what I mean as in the sense of like it's running at least 6 minutes long, base. And
speaking of which, what's your weekly stand-up?
My weekly stand-up is part of the reason I'm going to talk this week, but so I'm not going to talk about that because obviously that's for later on. But recently, Nicoletta and I finished a few animes there, and I've just been in a kind of limbo. This is what my weekly stand-up is. My limbo. Where like I finish a few things, a few animes, a few games, whatever, and I just don't know what to do. As in like I don't like there's some series that I'm interested in starting, and then some interest but then they're long and I have to invest time into that. And there are also some series that I'm like, there's some other ones I'd like to see, like especially games as well. So I'm in our real first world problem of having too much abundant of choice. I have too many options. Usually this doesn't affect me, but I've noticed it's affecting me right now, that I have too many options and I don't know what to commit to. So I'm not committing to anything.
Evolutionary wise, this is normal for you to feel.
Lol. Yeah, but no, honestly, like, so I'm like, usually I'm very good at committing things, but right now I'm not really trying to commit to anything. Personally, also because I have other ongoings on in my own personal life that I'm not talking about here, that make me be like, I'm a little bit more focused on those things. So I definitely don't want to distract myself away from that thing in comparison to like committing to a show and whatever and whatnot. So that's part of the reason why I'm having this indecisiveness, of situations. And I think it's going to continue for at least a good bit in the foreseeable future while I'm wrapping up other things.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
This must be so difficult to deal with.
Oh my God. So difficult. How about you? What's your weekly stand-up?
Actually, and this is just because I just said it to you there, and I've decided that this is my weekly stand-up. But one of my friends was over, right? And Farouk was just kind of like explaining evolutionary things to us. And like
Lol.
he played a Kurz Gazette video, and it was basically saying how we have advanced a lot as a society in terms of technological advancements, you know, medicine, like a lot of different things. But our bodies and like minds, whatever, haven't actually evolved with it. So like we are still kind of like in
Our brain is still biologically like more like hunter gatherer
yes,
caveman than it is in 21st
yes,
century spaceships and a artificial intelligence.
exactly. So I find that so interesting because that just tells me there's so many emotions and like different scenarios that we're dealing with. Like it's normal for us to overreact, underreact, not know how to react because we're not like mentally, we don't know
We're
how
not
to deal
equipped
with
with the
this. We're not
tools.
equipped with the tools to deal with this, you know? Such a beautiful way to put it. You know, equipped. Anyways, and like I just found that so interesting because it let me reflect a lot on things that are impacting me emotionally, because emotional intelligence is a huge topic, right? Like so much talk around it, so much like therapy and like whatnot, and I think that's what's helping us evolve. That's the evolution that's happening, but that's only kind of recent, right? And what's helping me is like knowing that it's okay for me to not know how to feel about certain things, you know, and it's okay for myself to allow myself to feel confused in certain situations, because I'm like, I don't think I need to know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like I should know how to deal with this or whatever. So that's my weekly stand up.
No, that's very fair. I think it is definitely one of those things that like we are progressing very, very fast, but obviously our brains and biology are still not keeping up. And I think it's pretty good to be acutely aware of that situation in your own
But it was like
life. You know,
like my third eye open.
Your third eye open
when I heard that.
When you heard that, insane.
Like I genuinely found it so intriguing because I think it explains a lot about like us being irrational human beings in a lot of different situations, because we don't know how to deal with it. Like, of course we don't know how to deal with it.
It's like, why am I reacting like this to this thing or whatever.
Yeah. Or why do I feel like this? Or trying to process feelings because of situations that like we're not used to being in. This is very like first time experience, you know, that kind of thing. So it's just very interesting to me.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think the topic is pretty cool. And sorry, like the way it works and just trying to figure out how everything, like how we navigate. Obviously, like that's just the thing for all humans, just trying to navigate this world that we live in and whatever age that we're in at the time, and trying to, you know, get to some kind of I don't know, point, whatever you want to call it, you know, with that. That's a thing. That's a thing that we got to do. But funny enough, I think even if we were to super advance even more, I still don't think our brains are going to ever really not even catch up, or even I don't think our brains would ever be able to even move on to like 21st century kind of like thing. I just think like when the end of the day, we're still animals, you know, they're just smarter than other animals, and we're navigating a bunch of tools.
I feel like this could so be like a whole episode, especially because I found it so interesting to hear about the artificial people that are being made, not AI, but rather like
genetic
babies,
modifications and stuff like that with CRISPR.
That's such an interesting topic that we could definitely like make an episode about. But
yeah, absolutely. But what was meant to be my other weekly stand-up that I was going to discuss is, you all know, you've all been talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it. Twitter's been talking about it. TikTok's been talking about it. Instagram's been talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. Even Facebook probably talking about it there. Whatever. Old heads are there.
Probably.
This whole "We Don't Trust You" and "We Still Don't Trust You" album from Metro Boomin and Future, taking shots
fired
at Drizzy Drake, Champagne Papi, Mr. Man himself. Can you imagine being Drake, waking up when they've dropped "We Don't Trust You"? Next thing you know, shots.
But my question is, how does he know it's about him? Like, what if he's just like, it could just be about anyone?
For all the dogs getting buried, all these little snipe. Come on now.
What if it's simply coincidence?
No. And you know the funny thing is he probably knew somewhat murmurs about what was going on, because like the rap game is big but small at the same time, especially where they are at. Maybe someone worked with someone and said like, yo, Driz, you better be wary. Like some guys are, getting ready. But the whole situation is kind of crazy because, so during the time actually, I was, fasting. I was trying not to listen to music. This is my first time ever doing it in Ramadan. I tried not to listen to music and everything. And then obviously
you didn't try. You did.
I succeeded.
You
I did. I succeeded. But obviously I still heard snippets of it like on TikTok and stuff and whatnot. But I didn't listen to the whole song until just there, literally a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Listened to the first album and then the second album just dropped today, and I listened to that.
This is so fresh off
Honestly,
the press.
it's fresh off the press. So everyone's been talking about Like That,
Mm-hmm.
which is Future and Kendrick Lamar.
Like that?
And Kendrick dropped that amazing verse where he kind of says it's not big trees, just big me. And like I'm the best in rap game. Like you guys don't understand, and like a bunch of lyricism, and everyone raves about Kendrick's verse, and absolutely rightfully so. Like Kendrick's verse is freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But hot take, I do believe, Drake is done for. Clip that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Drake is done for because Future's verse was actually better in my opinion.
Okay.
In the sense of Future was saying to him, oh, you're not really from the gutter. You're not really with it. You're a preppy boy. You don't really understand this rap game. You're just making pop songs. Essentially, that's what he was inferring from my listening and my opinion. So I think like that's a lot more disrespectful than what Kendrick was saying. Like Kendrick was at least challenging him as a rapper himself, saying
Right.
I'm just a better rapper than you. Whereas I felt like Future was saying that, yo, you ain't even about this life.
You ain't about this life.
You ain't about this life. You ain't about this life.
And what an insult, Because it's one thing to be like, I'm better at you than this, versus like, you don't even belong here. Like,
Exactly. You don't even belong here.
You're not worth my time.
Man was saying you don't even belong here. And it's crazy because then you have all these other people on the album, right, who are meant to be, who we know some people don't like Drake, some people who do like Drake. And like, for example, I know The Weeknd and him have had a little bit of a rocky, time recently. And, The Weeknd even said that, like he's never doing any more features, right?
After...
No. Before this.
Oh.
And then he featured on the freaking album, which showed that when he heard we dissing Drake, he's like, I want to be there. I need to be there. And then in the We Still Don't Trust You, I was shocked. Little Baby was on this thing. And the thing is, I don't think it's like old because like in the sense of like a lot of the second half of the album is where you see the kind of like shots again is like, I don't think it's old because it seems pretty recent, like with the way they were rapping and the like intros and stuff like that. And Little Baby, the guy who was on Yes Indeed, like Drake who was on Yes Indeed, he was on what's it called? All You Want. I can't remember the name of the song, the one with Drake's song with Little Baby, and then like all these things, and I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Like you really out here. Like I thought this was your boy, But and like once again, he didn't diss Drake.
Yeah.
But just being in association right now,
Did he know? Like.
Once again, we don't know. Like, we
don't
need to
know.
hear from Little Baby. Little Baby got like Rick Ross as well. Like, yo, Rick Ross, he did the whole.
Like obviously, Metro, Future, these are guys like well known
Like
to
they're
collab.
Yeah.
They collab with a lot of different artists.
Exactly.
So if maybe like Lil Baby was like, oh, I was asked to be on this, of course I was gonna go.
There's a possibility there, yeah, but I don't know. At the same time, like.
But I have a question though.
A$AP Rocky.
Yeah. Oh,
Crazy.
He went hard.
He went.
He did.
He went in on Drake on show hands. He said to him saying like, "Yo, I was there. I hit it before you birthed your son. Flacco was there first, And not only, and then he's like, oh, men crying over women because like obviously he got Rihanna and Drake didn't. Like,
crazy.
What? I never even knew Rocky had beef with Drake. Where is this coming from? Because this wasn't like. Oh, this wasn't rap like once again, this is not like Kendrick saying I'm better than you rapping.
Yeah.
This was him directly
There's
attacking
something
him,
there, like,
attacking Drake.
So what was it that led the rap community to wake up and be like, you know what? Fuck that
That's
Drake
what
guy.
I want to know. Like, it seems, well, we know that Metro and Future were beefing Drake. We know those two. Like, well, we know Metro was beefing Drake. Apparently, and Future was also beefing Drake due to, like, even though they did songs together, and we know, like, a lot of the songs that they've done together recently, but apparently after, like, due to tours or whatever things, like, Drake and Future had to fall out. Some people tried to lie and say it was for, like, they were saying, like, oh, it was for a woman, but it wasn't. That was, like, disproven, like, whatever, that was ever between them. It wasn't. We knew these guys were too big to be fighting over a woman. No offense, like these guys can have pretty much any woman in the world. They're not gonna beef over one woman, right?
You know,
they're too big for that. So, like, it seems like it was in relation to, like, a few other things or whatever. And then Metro and him, that's not fully clear, but they were beefing anyway. Like, there's people you can look up online that have more, like, conspiracy theories about what it would,
kind of thing.
and, like, all these things. But we know those two are beefing. And then this is something I was discussing with my brother as well this morning, actually, when I was talking to him, because he was saying that, oh man, to think that all these people are coming after you, like, you like envy and jealousy, like you're really the biggest. I was like, no, not necessarily. Like, don't get me wrong, Drake's got the numbers.
He does.
No one can take that away from Drake. Drake's
No.
got the numbers, right? And he's got them pop numbers too, like pop type numbers. That's why there's a pretty valid point about the thing. But it cannot just be, I mean, there's obviously a degree of envy and jealousy there for some of those people, because, like, for example, Nav, he's not even in this situation. He apparently unfollowed Drake or whatever,
Nav?
he's a rap. You've heard his stuff anyway, but he unfollowed Drake or whatever, and, like, obviously you have a few other, as I said, a few people on this album that you would never expect to be on this album because of their closeness. So I'm saying, like, you can't just coerce a bunch of people to beef Drake, right, out of nowhere, unless there is something there, as they called it, we don't trust you. Maybe he's done things to make them feel that way, to feel slighted, to feel they can't trust him, and they were like, you know what, fuck you. Because let's be honest, that whole album wasn't just aimed at him. It's just a part of it. But it's kind of crazy that they just got this. They, as you said, woke up the rap game to be like, hey, yo, Drake, fuck you.
Fuck that you. Guy.
That's crazy.
I think so, like, because I can see where your brothers come from in terms of, like, I'd be flattered if someone, like, I was so much living in someone's head rent free that they're making a whole, like, thing about it. But the other side, I really want to know, like, where they're coming from. Like, what's the tea? I want the tea, the sauce, because it's not like Future, Metro, very big guys in the industry. Kendrick, very big guys in the industry. It's not like Nav or whatever.
Yeah, they have no reason to feel envy and jealousy towards Drake.
You know what I mean? Like, they're selling out, like Metro.
They might not be the number one artist in the game, but they're
Metro Boomin isn't even an artist. He's he's a producer, like a very good producer. So he's not even competing there. But, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I want to know, like, what.
Isn't that what's up? The question is, will Drake respond?
Will Drake respond?
Like, Drake doesn't have to respond. I like someone who is it? Joe Budden put it pretty good in his podcast. Is like, Drake doesn't have to respond. He doesn't. He really doesn't have to respond. And honestly, I said that as well to, like, my friends. Or, like, Drake doesn't have to respond. Drake is so big that he literally does not have to respond. But out of principle, if he really wants to show that he is with it and with the rap game, he has to respond. Because if he doesn't respond, he's just go like, let the numbers talk. Let the numbers talk. As I feel like says,
I can see Drake respond just because he's sassy. Like, I feel like it's just in his character.
But Drake doesn't really respond like that. We know for a fact. Like, it was the meme was like, oh, Drake. It's like him, like, being quiet. Like, it's like this Drake when anyone that isn't a B-list or C-list artist or a woman, this is him. Because as in, like, he's like, the last time he responded was to Pusha T. That whole Pusha T situation. Ago, right? That was the last time we know he responded for, and in that situation he released Duppy Freestyle. Where that was a pretty cold. Like it's like, oh, you know, he's like.
But even at that, like it wasn't his own song that he went out of his way to.
No, it was Duppy Freestyle was his.
But it's not like the Daily Duppy thing.
No.
It's different.
He actually made a song
Okay.
to this Pusha T.
Okay, that's a response.
He full on responded. Yeah, he responded. He full on responded, and that's the point. As in, like, if Drake is going to respond to Pusha over and you could arguably say that Pusha's situation was worse because he actually outed him to the world. He outed his son, and he didn't want his son to be out there.
Yeah,
that's a different scenario. This though is a close second because it's one thing for one guy to say I am a better rapper than you.
Yeah,
it's another thing for guys to actually aim at you and be like, you ain't shit. We don't trust you. Bro. You ain't about this life. As a rapper, having your pride on the line, whether you have the numbers or not, you have to respond. Yeah. You know, like if he does, there's only two ways out of this. He doesn't respond, and he's just like, "Yo, I am Drake. I am the ultimate pop star. You know, I am Michael Jackson," as he says. And, you know, I don't have to respond to you guys. You know, fuck you guys saying I'm not part of the rap game. Let the numbers talk. Fair. No one can really give him shit. The numbers are talking. But street credibility wise, rap game wise, it's definitely going to take a hit on his legacy. Because you can't have that many people shoot at you and you say that you're a rapper for real. You might have the numbers, but they might not say you're not with the culture for like that. And then the second thing is he responds. And if he does something crazy, does like a freaking super good song, whether that's Brazy, and then as who was that? I can't remember who I was talking to. The difference is Kendrick and like all those guys making songs, like they get played a little bit in the clubs, but not really. Drake's diss is gonna be played in the clubs. Yeah, they're gonna play Drake's diss in the clubs.
But I was about to say, like, I can literally imagine being in a club and they're playing like that, followed by Drake.
Yeah, you know,
and
like
it's just like one after the other.
It'd be pretty interesting, honestly. Like, I think it's exciting times. I think we needed something like this.
Ferg's ready. He's
honestly,
excited.
I think we really needed something like this. Everyone was too relaxed. Everyone was too chill.
It was Ramadan, you know.
You know, no, even for the last few years, everyone's been too chill. The last time we had anything interesting in the rap game was this whole Pusha T Drake situation. To be honest,
that's the last beef.
Well, we had the whole Meg Thee Stallion having beef with who was it? I think it was Cardi. I'm not too sure.
There was some girl drama.
There's some drama but even them, like Meg Thee Stallion really shut that down real quick. She dropped her like song, boom, done. Like it wasn't even a competition. Whereas in this scenario, you have some pretty big heads going against each other. Okay. You know, like you know, and so I'm pretty interested and I'm excited to see where this goes. Honestly, it's saucy.
That's what I was trying to go for, but it didn't work for me.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, that's pretty big highlight.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive highlight, guys. Let me not lie. You know, I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna get some clips.
How is it for you not listening to music during Ramadan?
Yeah, that one was actually pretty difficult for me. Let me not lie. Like
I know everybody knows Luke is a big music head. Like he's always like up with the latest albums. Like he'll always play songs in the car as soon as they drop. Like fresh off the press on a Friday. So how is it for you?
As everyone knows, I'm very big indulger when it comes to music. So like not listening to music was actually pretty tough for me, especially when like I would hear like little snippets on TikTok, you know, and that's part of the reason why I kind of reduced my TikTok thing at the time as well during Ramadan, just to try to avoid those things. But also at the same time, it's like I always knew I liked music and loved music. I didn't realize how much I loved it until like I was like
like how big of a part it
is exactly in your life. Like I was like such a crack addict, like, you know, I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait to get my fix. I can't wait for over to get my fix. You know, like, you know, I was scratching, itching, you know, for like listening to music. And I was just like singing. Like there were so many times you'd even hear me yourself, you know, I'd just be singing random songs that came into my head just because of how much like I was to hear something or whatever, you know. It was really crazy or anything about it. I told you I'll sing for you. Yeah, but it wasn't hard either. Like, you know, like It was pretty calm. Like when in the car I was just listening to radio, in the gym I listened to either the podcast, but eventually near the end I just stopped and just started just focusing in on like my workouts instead and just like focusing on my breathing. So I wasn't really listening to anything. I was just like my ears went blocked and my mind went numb, you know, like I was just like working out. So definitely like I do realize how big of a part music was in my life and how much I held it to high regard, you know, and I like always constantly
Did it
listen to
make
music.
you okay? Did it make you appreciate music obviously so much more to the point that you're like, I need to listen to this every day because one day I'm gonna die and not gonna have it, you know, like I want to know that I listen to everything? Or did it make you appreciate like more quiet moments or listen to the radio on, you know, in the car, or
Yeah, it didn't
like?
definitely didn't make me be like, oh my god, I have to listen to music every day because I'm gonna die. No, but it did make me realize that the radio isn't that bad.
It's actually not, you know.
You know, because obviously, like, people are like, radio, don't they believe me? No, I was listening to News Talk. Shout out to them. They held me down in my car drives.
Because I think the only like program that doesn't play music, so it's just constant people.
It was
talking.
just News Talk is just constant people talking, like news and other things. And it was actually pretty informative. Like, News Talk actually had a lot of interesting discussions. Had a lot. They were very updated, obviously, with the news, and it was just had interesting people on talking about different things. And as someone who, like myself, who enjoys podcasts, that enjoys news and enjoying knowing what's going on in the world and everything, especially now, like in general, I'm just like that. And obviously, like, Irish news is something that I'm kind of exposed to, but not too exposed to. It was pretty interesting, like, getting that consistently. And I was like, actually, I really did actually enjoy having it. And it was pretty informative and things like that. So honestly, like, I wouldn't dog, like, if you guys just don't have a thing, use News Talk, honestly. Like, unless you're like, you hate the news and it's boring as hell for you, then
but
obviously, like, don't
really
waste your time.
shouldn't be boring if you're a full-grown adult living in a country. Like,
do you believe that? You know, that's something we should
actually
discuss.
do.
Stigma, like, do you think you have to be listening to news and all that? Because you know, like, a lot of people back in the day when we were younger would be like, oh my god, yeah, when you're an adult, you do these adult things. Do you really think?
I think definitely when I was younger, it was obviously meaningless to me, like the news, like I didn't care. But I think as you grow up, 100% you should be in touch with what's going on in the world. And I think if you don't, then obviously you're in a really privileged position to not care what's happening, because things like that are like on the news, things like taxes or upcoming votes or like things like that. These are important things that can help shape your life, your future kids' lives, whatever. If you're not planning to have kids, think about other people, you know, how it could impact them. And I think listening and knowing what's happening is important. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go listen to the radio, but even like there's so much information on TikTok, like, you know, Claire Clarkson from Ireland, that's giving a lot of information about the news. That's where I get most of my source for Irish news. Like, I think these things are important. Like, I think it's important to know what's happening. It's important to vote. I'm not seeing that much trend of like people our age voting. So I think we should really get more tuned in. Like, it's not boring. This is like, aren't we the people that are meant to
this is our
start
life.
Running the world? Like,
this is our life.
It's impacting us. Like,
yeah, but I think it, like, the news is very, for most people, it is quite boring because like they don't really, it's the way it's presented as well. Like, you know, it's just information. And I think like you have to kind of like be interested in it from a younger age. Like, I was.
See, here's the thing. When I say like stay in tune, it doesn't mean listen to the news. You could read,
even like I'm talking about even reading. I think people just don't
anything. People avoid the news.
Yeah,
how much of a privileged position do you need to be to avoid the news?
Boy, it's not even a privileged position. I think people just don't. I don't think people just don't have interest in it. And obviously,
but why do you have no interest in what's happening in the current economic climate? You know,
climate of your fucking
whatever.
Like,
Jaden Smith said.
Whatever. Have you seen all the memes? Side note, sorry, of Jaden Smith. Like, everyone's like, man, we should have listened to Jaden Smith about his economic climate as well. Due to the fact that because his girlfriend is hot. They're like, all the boys are like saying like, oh man, if I had talked about this, I would have had his hot girlfriend too.
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah.
You know, I keep seeing those memes and I still haven't even looked to see what his girlfriend
looks like. She's a pretty
like.
girl. She's very,
what does she look like?
Like,
is she Rainbow?
I actually don't think so.
Okay.
Is she?
No,
I don't remember. It was a while ago that I saw it. She's a very pretty girl.
But yeah, no, I saw that those memes and I was just laughing. That's just like a side thing. But also, like, I think it's one of those things that if you've never even been into caring about information, you just never get it. Like, for example, the only reason I'm okay with the news is because when I was younger, my dad used to put the news at 6 on all the time, you know, like RT News 6, whatever. And then I'd see it then, like, I didn't really care for it, obviously, as a kid too much. But then, obviously, like, it didn't make me numb to it either.
Okay.
You know, like, because I was having some exposure. So then obviously as I grew up, I love money. Everyone knows that, and I want to be financially free. So like me looking into financial news made me interested in information in general. And I think I'm generally myself a very like inquisitive person. I love learning new things and whatever. And like the news gives me new source of information.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily like learning whatever, but sometimes it does, and sometimes it's like just information that's just nice to know and stuff. So like I think if you're not of that any of those mindsets, it's kind of hard for you to get into the news.
What kind of a mindset are you? Because there's so like even like
people
on
who
TikTok,
literally just live
right?
day to day.
But the thing is, there's people like say like you're watching TikTok, right? And there's people sharing their like I don't know lives from in I don't know Brazil, right?
Brazil.
That's you keeping up with what's happening in the world, and I see that as
Is
like
it really though?
like if it's like some like person going through their lives, I think.
But that's not news.
But no, but it's kind of is like say what's happening in Palestine, right?
Okay, that's different though because that's targeted. Like I'm saying, like someone doing a vlog about me living in Brazil does not like it's saying like what's going on in the world because they're not really telling you about the economic state of Brazil.
Like what I mean is when it's informative. Like I'm not just saying like a vlog like let me go get boba and if
that's what most of it is.
But
though.
okay, a lot of it is like that. But I'm just saying like okay, I've seen vlogs from Palestine. I've seen vlogs from Israel. I've seen vlogs from like a lot of different countries that have helped me see through the lens of the people living there. But
that's so different because there's currently something going on. There's nothing going on in Brazil right now where
there's a lot going on there.
You know, I mean like
they're doing hella marketing for Brazil.
Yeah, obviously. But you know what I mean? And it's like they're not really like having something that's making them all be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on.
But here's the thing, like, right? They had the whole festival there recently. That would have made their news. That would have been on their television. Okay.
Yeah, but obviously, like
anything that's going on in the world, like
that's different. But if you're talking about that, then yeah, everyone does that. Everyone does that.
Yeah, but that's what. But like, obviously, okay.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be specific because that's too general. Because everyone does that. Everyone scrolls on TikTok, sees what's going on, and they move on.
Like what's going on here.
But
I
it's
think
not
it's
the
like
same.
The depth as well, right? Like the depth
matters because that's so surface level. Depth matters.
Okay, then if I were to narrow it down, then I would say it's important to keep up with the current economic, social climate of your country, I guess.
At least, anyway.
At least. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who know more about the economic climate of another country than their own.
Which makes sense because America's pretty hot stuff. You know, everyone listens to it. Obviously, and what happens, America kind of has a knock-on effect to affect other countries and stuff.
Like
so,
Congo.
Like, like what?
Like Congo.
Oh, yeah. But also, I was going to say, like, for example, the TikTok ban and how now, like, Germany is considering banning TikTok. And that's going to have it's about to be on the president's table and he has to sign it. If that goes through and they decide to actually ban TikTok because, let's say, TikTok doesn't sell off to, like, some American company or switch off into an American company, other European companies are like, maybe we should. You know, they're like, China? Too. We don't really like China. Let's also ban TikTok.
Yeah, no, it's important stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Keep in tune with the news. I didn't even know what we were talking about before the news.
Music.
Oh.
And then you're asking me
because I was asking you
about, exactly.
Listening, quiet. Are you appreciating more quiet time?
Yeah, I did appreciate it. How about yourself? How was going on that topic of Ramadan? How was it for you? How was your introspective month and everything, and what'd you get out of it?
It was very, very good. I did.
Oh, side note, I fasted 13 days. Just saying.
You did.
Yeah.
Well done to you. Obviously,
health reasons.
It's a lot more difficult on your body. So, for me, it was honestly like such a breeze, and I'm so grateful to be able to say that. You know, like last Ramadan taught me a lot, you know, and so did this one, and from a different perspective. I think at the start I was looking for the same kind of, you know, kind of like feeling grateful moments that I was from the last one.
Yeah.
But I wasn't experiencing that, and I was getting more frustrated because I was like, am I just not like as in tune or like what's going on? But I don't think, like, I really had to sit myself down and try to figure out like what was up. And I think I've kept that on with me since last year, and I've been like a grateful person overall. So I can't refine something that I've already
You can't get
found.
more than what you've already gotten.
You know what I mean? So instead, what I focused my like perception on was like being able to have like a healthy body during this month, because that's become like a really big theme this Ramadan, of like I was able to, you know, fast throughout the whole day without like feeling dizzy or like, you know, like tired or you know, anything like that. And I was doing a lot more strenuous activity than it was last year. I think last year I was like, oh, let me take it easy, let me do whatever.
Yeah, you kind of just sit at home
You
and
know,
stuff.
kind of like conserve energy.
Yeah.
And this year I was like, no, our bodies can take so much more than this. And it's just really put into perspective of like, you know, having access to like being grateful that I have access to such a good diet and being able to like eat well and like take care of my body. So I like feel like I really pushed it to its limit. Like we were doing daily walks, and like I picked up running during Ramadan, you know, like after I was eating, and I was going to the gym in the mornings and lifting like half the stuff that I was like, I didn't go as hard, but I was there without water and I was like fine, you know. So it's just kind of like a woken moment of I can push myself harder than I am. You can push your body, yeah. I can push my body a lot harder, because I have all the resources to be able to like fuel it, right? So I think it was just a lot more focus on that this year. And then
we know based off your TikTok that you started, one, TikTok again, and two, cooking a bunch of things. How was that for you?
How was the meals?
I enjoyed the meals, but you as the cooker and the TikToker, what was it like for you?
Yeah, first day of Ramadan, I was just like, let me record this. Like, let me just record it.
So you didn't go into Ramadan thinking you were going to do that? It just happened.
It just happened. It just so happened because I was like, oh my God, like this is fun. This is a fun time in my life. You know, like a beautiful period where I want to record this, even if it's for myself. And the more days went by, the more, you know, I was trying new things, recording more recipes, recording my life more. And I just kind of like started falling in love a little bit with the process of posting again on TikTok. And because for a while I felt a little bit like uninspired. You know,
the creativity juices were lacking.
They were lacking, and I was like, my life isn't interesting enough or whatever. And during that time, I was like, you know, my life is interesting. You know, like I don't have to do much to
post about
it because I watch the most mundane things on TikTok. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
not me though.
I'm enjoying this. Like I'll post this out there, and it's been really fun. I've been posting a lot more, and we have more stuff planned, and it's just really enjoyable, I think.
So you got the tea here first, guys. Nicoletta's returning. Well, she's already returned, but she's doing a full-on send return to TikTok. Yeah. You know, 130. How many did you lose? Like 20,000 followers? You have, or say you have 100, like 40, 50,000.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because to me those are not real. Like,
yeah, they're not real, guys.
No, as in like they're not watching my stuff. Most people don't even know that they follow me. Like,
yeah, they do not remember like
ever.
Their following page is probably filled with a bunch of people, and they just like
lost. Mine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You're lost in the sauce. Not mine, guys. My following page is actually very small, because most of the people I follow are just friends, so I can send them TikToks and they don't post. There's literally like I think like 4 or 5 people that post on my follow list, so I actually get.
I follow so many accounts. I cannot.
That's too
keep
many
track.
accounts.
Like I think there's like
free yourself.
over 1,000. Like
free yourself.
No, because I don't even know who it's there, and if they come up, I'm like, oh cool, I'll watch their stuff. Cool. I'll watch their stuff. You know, I'm not mad about it. So yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, we are actually doing.
We're planning a little series.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit more. You guys will see about how that goes. I've kind of come out of my shell a little bit. I don't really like recording. A lot of you guys know this. You know, I'm like closed off like this. You know, even look at me. I'm closing off my body language. I'm not opening it up, you know. But I don't really enjoy recording that much. It's not really my scene. But I am trying to get better, because I am realizing that I am somewhat in a public space. Like, I guess having like over 80,000 people follow you on Instagram, seeing the podcast clips is gonna do that. And then obviously I want myself also like I do like creative stuff and I do like enjoy it, but I think I just don't put myself out there. So I'm gonna try aiding her stuff, and then maybe based off that I'll do some stuff myself. You guys will see a lot less of me than you'll see of her anyway. But it's a start.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm really excited for it. I think it's almost like there's a goal that we can see, like a timeline. So it's always, I think, if you're thinking to start posting online, definitely have like I want to do this for like this long.
Yeah.
Because for me during Ramadan, I was like, let me do this for Ramadan.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
it became longer and bigger and bigger and bigger also.
Start somewhere. Just start.
Start with a day, a
Just
week.
Start, guys. Just start. And Drake, please respond.
Please, we're
Please.
waiting.
I want more hot sauce in my life when it comes to the rap game. The sauce is a crazy. It's très magnifique. That's what I'm looking for, bro. All right, guys.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Thank you.
Till next time.
Peace.